All right, wine animals, welcome to the next episode of my world famous, soon to be YouTube channel. I am here in Heathcote. I'm a long way from the mighty Yarra Valley. The kids are outside frolicking around, throwing rocks. As long as they don't throw them at each other, they'll be fine. I have a good friend and even a little bit of a mentor now in terms of Shiraz, Adam Foster here, who is the man behind Syrahmi. We are going to look at the very first vintage. The very unreleased current vintage. The colour's not too dissimilar actually. And something in between. But without further ado, I'll hand over to Adam to introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his backstory and his side hustle that turned into his full passion, because he wasn't always a winemaker.
True.
So please, Adam, welcome and thank you.
Thanks for having me, or thanks for coming.
Anytime.
That's good.
Anytime.
Where do we start? So, yes, you heard I originally was a chef. Then I suppose my love for wine got me to do a vintage, followed by another one and another one. And then basically before I knew, I was doing 2 vintages a year for the next 4 years. So I love Shiraz. So I spent a lot of time in the Rhone Valley and here in Australia working with people that I thought made great Shiraz. So back Torbreck, Jasper Hill, Mitchelton with Don Lewis, and then over in France was Chapoutier, Stéphane Augier and Pierre Gaillard. So from that, lots of ideas, and then bought a ton and a half of fruit, and that's where this wine comes in. This is the very first Syrahmi, no, the other one.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
That's all right, that's okay, that's good. We can do that, the very first. 2004
Syrahmi SV squared, which stood for single-vineyard Shiraz Viognier. So,
that's why they're squared. Because you asked me what it said, and I said single vineyard, and you said Shiraz Viognier, and now I get the square because it's both.
SV, yes.
Yep, and the label has not changed too much.
Not too changed too much. The birds have become more like wedge-tailed eagles, where they look like
and that's because
pigeons.
Wedge-tails, because
we have lots of wedge-tailed eagles around here.
Yep.
And yes, the name of the wine changes every year, which it still does. But back in the original days, obviously my time in Côte Rôtie, where I was working for Augier and Gaillard, they both destemmed. They didn't use whole bunches. They used, sometimes there was a percentage of Viognier in the vineyard, so that went in. And they used around 25% new oak for their cuvées, for their sort of regular cuvées, not the sort of more premium ones.
Yep.
So I sort of had that idea in my head. That's sort of what I wanted to follow, and I came back and sort of was trying to do the same, I suppose, by learning what I'd learnt. Applying, I should say, what I learnt. So, yeah, this is the 04. So we've just went in the cellar, we've pulled a bottle out, and we've opened it.
I'm the wrong person to ask what to open. Because, like, should we open in 04 and 06? I'm like, 04, it's the first vintage. Like,
you don't often get too many chances. I made 110 dozen of this wine.
And how many would be left, do you reckon?
Oh, I would swear there would be probably none in anyone's collection. We sold out really quick. It was my first release, but I remember selling out. Donovan's were one of the first. The Prince restaurant, as in Circa, I think back in the time. Melbourne Wine Room, and who was the other? Was another. But basically, my first day on the road, I ended up selling like 60 dozen on day one. I was like, they all committed to buying, 5 to 10, 15 dozen. And I was like, oh my God, how good's this? So,
how easy is it?
How easy? Yeah, it's not like that nowadays. But anyway, so for me, it was really great to get it out. But it's good to go back to the original where obviously Syrahmi started, being 04. And how the journeys began, or how it began and to where it is now. So we're still about single vineyard Shiraz. We've never differed from that. The name changes every year to reflect what Mother Nature gives us, and we like to, get that back into the glass to tell the story of the vintage and the harvest, basically. But yeah, we've just opened this, and it's magical to look at. Like, I don't often get to look at these wines.
Unbelievable. Like,
it's still relative. It's so fresh.
Colour's unbelievable. Like, it has the nose hints at age. Yes, correct.
Unbelievable. But
the colour, no. You wouldn't look at colour if you were blind tasting that and say this is 21 years old. Not for Shiraz, no way.
No way.
Well, not for Heathcote Shiraz.
No.
Sediment, colours. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So I feel this wine, when I made it, it was, as I said, all destemmed, a little bit of Viognier, had a cold soaked, had a bit of, sulphur added. We foot stomped it. We gave it a little plunge. It went into, barrique, not larger format like you'll see in the room today. And yeah, that's how it began. So yeah, to pull it out, have a look at it after 21 plus years. We just bottled the 2023 Syrahmi a month ago, and that's my 20th. It's called XX. So look for that in 2.5 years' time. So when that comes out, and that's going to be my 20th release. So we'll do a big fanfare, I'm sure. We'll do some dinners. And
we'll set up some big cameras up here and we'll just film everything.
And we'll, I want to open them, all of them.
The 21 is aptly named
Once in a Lifetime.
To reflect, and the eagles are more prevalent now.
Yes,
like it's a real eagle, the first one. The
proper.
first one's a real eagle, like the mother eagle.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime.
So once in a lifetime, and the really simple explanation is after the Talking Head song, and if anyone's ever heard it, and you can say that, we always write a description on the back label of why, but for me, I think 21 is, for me, the greatest vintage I've seen out of Heathcote in 20 odd years of making wine. 2019 was that vintage, and then 2 years later we have 21, which blew it out of the water. So we're about to release this in October, and which I'm very excited, because for me, I feel the 2021 Once in a Lifetime is the best Syrahmi to date. So if we can look at the 04 and think, wow, how good's that? I can only imagine what the 2021 will look at in years to come.
I'm not going to waste that, but I'm going to pour some 21 into the glass just because that's what we're here for. But how has it changed, like the wine? Well, I mean, even the style of the wine in the from 2004 to 21.
Yeah.
Obviously you're still making it. You've obviously learnt a lot in those 17 vintages. You've done vintages overseas in between time. You've trialled and errored. You've failed. You've passed.
Correct.
You've gone out on the road and probably sold nothing.
Yes.
In a day. Whereas how has this wine changed?
I think the philosophy is still the same. Single site, single grape variety in a way, reflecting Mother Nature. That part is still, back in 04, we only bought grapes from one vineyard. So it was pretty easy to make a single vineyard wine, where now we could make, in some vintages we get 5, 6 Shiraz vineyards. So only one can make Syrahmi. So it's great because it's, if I was to blend and do this, I'm sure the wine could even be better, but I love the whole philosophy that it's just single site, single grape variety, grown on a single bit of dirt, and we put it in.
It's the story, right?
And that's how I feel, yeah. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's more important than trying to search for perfection or trying to make the greatest wine ever. I think along the way, you just got to trust the process, trust Mother Nature. So with the 2021, exceptional vintage. The growing season was great. The grapes came in. They were perfectly ripe. They were, no disease pressure. It was like one of the great vintages, and hence why Once in a Lifetime. If I am lucky in my life in the next 20 years to see a vintage like this again, I think we're all going to be very excited. Releasing, yes, just, for me, again, 4.5 years of age, and it's just starting its journey. So this will come out and it's already firing on all cylinders. It's like, so perfumed, aromatic, 95% whole bunch in this year. Mm-hmm. So lots of perfume, but really restrained, as in it's not being extracted. It's not overly tannic. It commands food like all our wines do. I feel
you're going for that savoury edge, right?
Yes,
like that's
exactly.
The style that
that's the style. We always trying to make food orientated restaurant wines. Like that's for me. I couldn't drink wine without having great food with it. I feel that's the really important.
So your primary focus then on sales for your wine is on premise with restaurants?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. And we sell probably 90% direct to the great restaurants of the world. And for us, the Soms love it because they've always got some age. Mm-hmm. They're ready to go. They love food, our wines, and I think always the great thing I always hear when our wines are poured by the glass, it's how amazing people reorder that same glass.
Yeah, okay.
So for a restaurant, I'll just have another glass of that, that is so refreshing for us. That's like we're doing our job. Like people are like, I want that again.
Except for people like me that are then like, I want to buy a dozen of these to put down or to give to my darling wife who loves Shiraz. You can't buy it though because the restaurants have taken it all, which is you can buy some of it, but but majority of it goes.
Yes, exactly.
But I can see why it needs food. Like you can see
exactly. And our point is, we don't try to sell out in a heartbeat. We want the wines to last like a year because we want to see the restaurant see it and then get the next vintage. I don't want the wines to sell out in a heartbeat in some ways. And that's why we make like 600 dozen of this year. So not in the world of wine, it's small, but the restaurants and the people we have, I'm so happy because they'll just move on to the next vintage and that's what I love, the continuity that we're on these great restaurants of the world. They constantly want it. We're not like it's sold out in a heartbeat and how do I get it?
You're holding back the vintage until you sell out of the vintage prior, right?
Yeah, and we only, in some vintages, in some releases, we actually release a different vintage.
Okay.
So in 2016, we actually released the 18 next, held back the 17.
Yep.
When the 18 was sold out, we released the 17.
Yeah, so which is like a bit of a champagne methodology.
So we only do it when we think, the wine's ready. We did it we went from 09 to 11, then sold 10.
Yep.
So we've done it a couple of times, and that's our commitment that when you see our wines, we're happy with them, how they're looking.
Yep.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
And that's that's the difference. That's that like. Everyone always talks about the 1%ers. That's the 1%ers, right?
Mm.
Like you tasting it, being like, okay, I'm going to release. Because I remember early on in my journey, my mum used to get given lots of champagne as gifts through her business. Yeah. And I remember at Christmas we were having the 09, and then the following year she got gifted the 08. And I was like,
how does that?
And I researched, and it was like, we released, and I didn't have any idea. I'm like, why would they release the 09 before the 09? Now I understand.
Now you understand
now
when you drink 08 champagne.
Correct. Now I'm like, that needs like another decade before it's ready to even be drunk. But I understand why. But it's just it's an amazing philosophy. But there's one thing that I want to talk about, and it's why we set up the camera where we are now. It's this. I don't want to knock it. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to knock it over. But this is an egg that's come from all the way over the other side of the world. How many litres is it?
650.
650 litres. Okay. Now you don't have to tell the cost of this, but the cost is a lot. It's astronomical for how much wine it actually holds. And it came from where?
Italy.
Italy.
It was made for us.
And it made for you, and it went to where?
It got shipped to Perth, and then we had to train it from Perth to here.
God, that's like a coal train from Perth.
It actually got here pretty quick. So we ordered it actually October last year, and it was only when we filled it, 13th to the 5th. So it only came a couple of months ago. Okay.
And so the reason behind these vessels for you then, because I think that's an important...
Yeah, so there's for me, these are called a claver, but what ceramic does to the wine has been really important. I think there's a real purity in the wine. Obviously, Syrahmi and Lala sees oak, and older oak, like Syrahmi sees the large 3,500 and 2,800, but I wanted each of the Shiraz to have their own personality in a way of not that their terroir or the piece of soil where they're grown is represented and reflected with what we age it in. So this you'll see is our home block. So this is our Shiraz off our own home block vineyard, the high density vineyard. If I was to put this wine in 100% new oak, it would always look oaky. Like it would never. So for me, I wanted something more neutral, and obviously you think using older oak, but in my head, again, about trying something different was like, I want to make uniquely an Australian wine. So not this ceramic egg, but the other eggs, which we can see a little on, you can get a snapshot. They were made in Byron Bay, the Magnum, the flow form eggs. So they, for me, have been really important, but the person making them doesn't make them they're not available. So I've had to look outside the square to think of some other. So these are made, as I said, in Italy, and it's the first time we now own two, and we're learning. So the wine only went into it 4 months ago.
13th to the 5th.
Yeah, so it's only 4 months. Oh, sorry, actually, 14th to the 6th, 25 went in.
Yeah.
So it came out of the white egg into that. Yes.
Yep.
So it was pressed last year, that's right, for that, and then gone into the first year in the Australian eggs, and then the second year.
And how long will it stay in here for?
For another winter.
Okay.
So it will come out next winter.
Okay.
And then it'll be 3 years in bottle before release. And that's
You're finding this to become more like, I hate the term, but like more mineral, more like that sort of...
There's a couple of Australian
pure?
winemakers that have been using them, and I've spoke to them, and they are definitely different to the Australian. I'm yet to find out fully. I think I'm,
Learning.
along for the ride. Like I looked at it last night, actually, and I was really quite impressed. There seems to be a warmth of depth to the wine, where the Australian eggs have this real length and fineness down the palate. There seems to be more width in this, so we'll see. Well, time will tell.
We'll know when we get the 2024 home block.
Correct.
In like 12 years when we're all...
No, not 12 years.
When we're
No,
dinosaurs.
2027.
Nine. Yeah, there you go.
God,
That feels like 12 years, 2029. I'll have a teenager in 2029.
Yeah, you
Oh my
will,
God.
exactly. Yeah, 5 years, 3 years in bottle.
But that's like, that I think for a lot of people probably is hard to comprehend. There's a lot of wineries that are releasing 2025 wines now in 2025.
Already, I've drunk
a lot of 24s. Like we've had a few 24s today, even of other wines.
Yeah.
But you're on 2021. The Lala's on 2019,
19,
soon
about
to
to
come.
be, yes.
Right, so it's actually still on 2018 technically. If
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
find
technically.
it. 2019. Then you've got the Demi, which is your, what would you call it, like
2024.
the entry level.
The entry level.
We'll call it
Yeah,
entry level.
absolutely. Yeah.
So which is the blend of vineyards.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you make a lot more of that, obviously.
Yes,
that's your
exactly.
volume
Yeah,
wine.
exactly.
That's the value play.
That is
right?
the
If you're looking for
great
something, that's the value play, because that will won't change your life. That's not the right word. That just sounds like a cliche, but that will open your eyes to what Heathcote Shiraz at that price point can really be.
It way over delivers. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what a lot of people are looking for, right?
Yeah.
They want. And I get asked this question all the time: is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is there value? Like, do you think is that a good price? It's like, well, price to quality is hard to quantify, because what I think I can afford and what is value is different to what you can afford to pay and what they can afford to pay. But all of these wines, I feel, bat above what they're priced at, personally.
And I have a really simple analogy, I suppose, with pricing and that and wine. And I feel like we've always, it's quite refreshing to hear, like, like Syrahmi $60 odd, like, that's incredible value for a wine of already 4.5 years of age. It's going to last another 10, 15, 20 years. And I was like, great. So it's really refreshing to saying that. But for me, that's what I've always tried to do, is try to make wines that are accessible, not only to people, but also to restaurants. So, and with age, because for me, when I sit and have a meal at a restaurant, I really dislike drinking young wine.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of like there's no pleasure. It's like I've got this food, but I don't have anything to go with it. Like, it's sort of, and that's the part that the great restaurants of the world, they have this culture of serving, refined food with wines that are properly mature. And I'm not saying 15, 20 years old, but even, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, just something that's had a little bit of time.
Soften that, like we looked at the 25.
Yeah, I mean,
and
like
that thing is like purple and raw, and I'm like,
and inky and like, and I'm going to rip your teeth off, strip the enamel off quickly, like. But I mean, it still smells.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be exceptional.
It's a really nice, like if you pour that into decanter and let people smell it, they would. I mean, they know it's Shiraz, and it's perfumed. It's really lifted.
Yeah. So I feel, yes, for me, the important thing is having wines that are ready to release, that are starting their journey, because we use so much whole bunch. If you were to release them young, people would just be like, I don't get the wine, and we need to invest. We believe the wines can age, so we put our money where we hold them back. We get them to a point we think they're ready to release, and I think the benefits for all consumers.
And I mean, all of these vessels are extremely expensive. Like, I mean, I know how much this is because you told me, and I almost fell over. Like, it's just, and so, every barrel.
So that one barrel, behind you, is over 40,000 Australian dollars.
There you go. And how many litres is it?
3,500.
So that would make roughly 4,000 and something bottles of wine, roughly.
Exactly.
And it's $40,000.
Yes. So, It's crazy when you're there.
At least when you release these wines when your kids are old enough, when they're taking over the winery, when we finally release the 24 home block, when the kids are doing it, then we know that it's all for them, right?
It's all for them.
It's all
exactly.
for them.
Yeah, but I suppose that's always the commitment. It's sort of like, this oak is, it's crazy what they, how I know the benefit they give to the wine. So for me, and obviously I've been buying them over the years slowly, from 2000, from back in 2011. I think we bought one in 2013.
How long will they last then?
They should outlive me. Like if you look after them, you go to Germany, they've got 100-year-old ones.
What about the impart of oak on the wine? Non existent?
Basically, even on a new one, like that was new in 2023, and I feel it's so because the mass is so the volume. It's so hard. If you put that amount of volume in small barrique, it'd be very oaky, obviously. But it's so hard. Like
the ratio of liquid to
correct,
oak.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
and that will last just over and over.
And it should last. Yeah, we look after them. We treat them well. We've got to,
The thing going back to this would have been what they would have made wine in back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's like full circle back.
Full circle, exactly.
And then like there's a you guys can't see it, but I'll put it on there. There's a what looks like a stainless steel barrel.
It is. So that is the 300 litre.
I'm just going to pick it up and do it.
Stainless steel. We just bought that, and the whole and sole reason is all that is going to be the Syrahmi 23XX Magnums.
That's just
we can't bottle the Magnums on the bottling line we use, so we have to bottle these individually different. So we take it off the blend, we blend it out of the tank.
Looks like a keg.
It does look like a keg. And that we're going to bottle, and then they will be the Syrahmi Magnums that will come out a year older than the Syrahmi of the same vintage.
It's going to be so cool to do side by side too, to see the two different wines, even blind to people, because they would pick it as two different wines. That's crazy. That's probably made somewhere locally by a little world.
No, it's not. It's made in, I think, Germany.
Oh, of course it is. Germans do everything better.
Yeah, I think it is.
Germany, Italy.
I know.
The Australian bloke doesn't make them anymore.
No, and he doesn't make them.
Could there be anything more Australian than the Australian bloke that made the eggs just doesn't make them anymore?
I know.
Like
he couldn't get more cashing in now.
He couldn't get more Australian than that, considering what you paid for one of these from Italy. He could just be sitting up there at Byron Bay doing. He's probably still sitting up at Byron Bay doing his thing. But I love this winery. I love the concept. I love that it's a family operation. Like you obviously you have no staff.
No staff, no.
You bring people in obviously for picking and for harvest and for help and stuff. Exactly. But like you said, you did the pruning
and we do all our
tile.
distribution.
You do all your own distribution.
I singly pruned every single vine in the vineyard.
Vineyard looks good, by the way. I'll put some pics up, to show the vineyard, but it looks great.
But, and that's the thing, we only make like around 4,000 dozen total a year, not even three and a half to 4 a year. So, but we're so happy with that. We sell direct, and so we have a lot of contact with.
So if you want them, don't go to my website. You go to his website, all right? Don't go to my website.
Come and visit.
Don't go to mine because there's no point. But yes, I absolutely love all of the wines. We've opened a lot today, actually. I'll be honest. We've opened quite a few. Too many that we can actually drink. The Mrs. Wineham will be happy when
next time you'll have to come.
When I bring some of these, she can come next time.
Yeah, exactly.
I brought the kids with me at least.
Yeah, well, you brought the kids.
They've been frolicking around, climbing rocks, doing all sorts of things. But if you haven't heard of Syrahmi before, you have now. They are in Heathcote in Victoria. There'll be a map overlay. We will showcase the vineyard. One more question. Okay. Home block.
Yes.
You've got 88 acres here.
88.
And you've got 0.8 of an acre under vine. So it seems like a little bit of a wasted space in terms of a vineyard. But you planted Shiraz, obviously, because how many bottles of Cabernet do you own in your whole collection of Cabernet?
0.
And there's a lot of wine. Okay. Yes. So you planted the home block, Shiraz, and you planted it north to south? No. You planted east to west. After how many people told you not to do it?
A lot.
And why did they tell you not to do it?
Well, they all thought that you needed direct sunlight to be able to ripen the grapes, And I was like, well, no, it's photosynthesis you need. There was already a vineyard that done it, and the way we done it, like most high density, also planted really low to the ground, like they do
Burgundy.
And in the Rhone. And I was like, no, because we want airflow. I want less disease
vines aren't
pressure.
tall, yeah.
So our cordon is at 1 metre, which is also very different. And these factors, and we changed the east to west to 6 degrees south. So basically during the veraison, the changing of a green pea into a red grape, we have no direct sunlight on either side of the canopy. So we have no shrivel, no desiccation, no sunburn, nothing. So the vines are very gentle. We're picking, as you'll see, we picked on the 14th of the 4th. We're only ever picking home block in April.
Okay.
Where we start picking Heathcote Shiraz in February.
Yeah, okay.
So same region, same grape variety. Yes, there's up to 30, 40, 50 kilometres difference.
Yep.
But
in essence, it's the month
in
and a half
essence the
or 2
same,
months
and we're
different.
picking 2 months later
Yep.
from the same, and we're picking this at about 12.5 potential alcohol as opposed to 13.5
But
in
a
February.
lot more effort in the vineyard, right?
Correct,
Heaps
exactly.
more effort.
Yeah. So those factors alone, by doing it, and the size, obviously it's manageable. We have 3,000 vines in 0.8 of an acre, so equates to around 9,200 vines a hectare. So by that, the competition, each vine, we're trying to get like 5-6 bunches total, and from that, they're very slow.
Is this all of the home block?
No, there's one more.
One more, okay.
Yeah.
So which is what, 600? So
1,200 litres.
1,200 litres.
Yeah,
so
out of 3,000
1,500
vines.
bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
For all the effort that you put in, for 1,500
exactly.
bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
Which did sell out in like record pace.
Yeah. So,
The home block's the one that has the label with the gravel on it, like literally like stuck on dirt, gravel from...
Granite.
Yep.
Granite.
From
350 million year old
the
granite.
kids have been climbing like 40-foot
exactly.
boulders. I
Yeah.
almost shit the bed when I saw my oldest up on the boulder earlier. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I was okay with it, but if my wife found out about it, hopefully she doesn't watch.
No.
And I didn't see the photos that I took. That would have been something else. But this has been an amazing visit. I absolutely love all the wines, especially the 2004. I think that's just really
super
showing well. And the once in a lifetime. I mean,
it's
great name too. Love the name.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It really
it's such a
reflects-
good talking head song.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites.
But a massive thanks to Adam. We're going to go inside now. We're going to taste some lalas. We're going to talk about them and the history of that. And I'll say cheers.
Cheers.
And we are both out.
Thank you.